don't get, I can't use money. I need money. I need money. Oh, yes, that's what I want. A whole lot of money. A whole lot of money.
John Lee Hooker, Money, here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Juan?
Well, Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner has unveiled a sweeping new plan that calls on the United States and other nations to offer billions more to bail out economies in crisis around the world. The news comes days after the World Bank warned the world is falling into the first global recession since World War II. The economic crisis is projected to push around 46 million people into poverty this year. Geithner said the Obama administration will ask Congress to make $100 billion more available to the International Monetary Fund to aid struggling nations. The debate over how to rescue the global economy is setting up a clash of ideas as finance chiefs meet for international talks in London this weekend to work out a unified approach to the crisis.
Amidst the economic turmoil, Geithner appeared on the PBS Charlie Rose show this week for an extensive interview. Near the end of the interview, Charlie Rose asked Geithner, will capitalism be different?
Will capitalism be different?
I think capitalism will be different, and the financial industry will be dramatically different. It's already dramatically different. Again, if you look at the scale of adjustment and restructuring in the financial, that's already happened, it's profound in scope already. So if you just look at the system today relative to what was true 3 years ago in terms of the institutions that existed then and their basic shape, that's changed dramatically, and there's going to be more changes ahead. But I think it'll emerge stronger. This will clean out a lot of the excesses and bad practices, and those that don't get cleaned out just by experience and knowledge now, better regulation oversight, better rules of the game, enforced more cleanly, will fix.
That's Treasury Secretary Tim Geithner. Well, our next guest argues free market corporate capitalism is by its nature a disaster waiting to happen. Michael Parenti is a longtime political analyst, author of 20 books, including Democracy for the Few and Super Patriotism. His latest article on the financial crisis, Capitalism's Self-Inflicted Apocalypse. He joins us now in our Firehouse studio. He gave a talk last night at Fordham called Wealth, Poverty, and Empire. Welcome to Democracy Now!
Hello, Amy. Hello, Juan.
What should we understand right now, Michael Parenti?
Well, we should understand that the problem we're facing is one which has to do with equity and fairness, that when the foundation gets consumed, the apex gets bloated, it's going to collapse, and that's just what's happened. We had 8 years of a president telling us that the economy was doing very well, and for his guys, it was doing very well. But in those 8 years, wages will remain flat or actually decline. And what we had here is so much money and nowhere to put it anymore. But that's because there were no people below able to consume and buy the things they were supposed to buy. The assumption was that the housing market would just continue to go up and up and up, so you can do all these finaglings. But there weren't enough people to buy these new houses. You had in 2006 5 people doing the work. By 2007, 4 workers were doing the work that it took 5 to do in 2006. That was a 20% increase in productivity, but there wasn't any 20% or 10 or 5 or 3% increase in income to those workers. People are just working harder and harder for less and less. And the goal is really to bring America to a closer resemblance to Indonesia. The goal is to avoid Denmark and get Indonesia. I mean, they say things like that. In 1978, a number of these financiers came out and said, this country is just heading for a social democracy, and we don't want that. I mean, they used the term social democracy. They're aware of these things. A few months ago in the New Yorker, there was an article about how Republicans are at a loss for issues, and one of them said, well, the reason we're at a loss is because we've accomplished what we wanted. We've destroyed the social democracy, and that's their goal. And if you listen to them now, I mean, it's fascinating and outrageous. They're talking about doing nothing, just putting a cap on all spending, that the market is in a stage of correction. They use terms like correction or adjustment. They don't mind recessions. Recessions are fine. It allows them to buy up smaller companies at bargain prices. It disciplines labor. It humiliates and beats back people. And this, I think, is what we're facing. And I'm infuriated by the Republicans in the Congress and the way they're going at this. The only passion they show is to protect the tax cuts for the super rich. That seems to be the only interest they have.
Michael Parenti, I'd like to ask you in terms of we're almost a year now into this, into the beginning of the unraveling of this crisis. Yet there's been no attempt so far to have any kind of reforms of regulation. We still have a situation where a huge portion of the financial system is consumed with all of these derivatives and credit